Jimmy Page, the iconic guitarist and mastermind behind Led Zeppelin, is often revered as a rock god whose groundbreaking riffs and mystical aura shape the very fabric of hard rock and heavy metal. But behind the wall of Marshall Stack's haunting solos and legendary stage performances lies a far darker, more unsettling story than most fans ever realized. From his early days as a teenage session musician in London's bustling studio scene, Page's brilliance on the guitar was undeniable. He played on countless hits before forming Led Zeppelin in 1968, instantly establishing the band as a force of nature. But even at the height of the band's success, Page was immersed in a world of growing excess, dark obsessions, and personal isolation. While the band toured the globe and topped charts, Page became increasingly drawn to the occult, particularly the writings of Aleister Crowley. He even purchased Crowley's former estate, Boleskine House, in Scotland, fueling whispers about Page's interest in black magic and darker spiritual practices. Although Page rarely spoke openly about his beliefs, the symbolism, rituals, and mysterious aura surrounding him became a defining part of his identity, and some believed his fascination bordered on dangerous obsession. Behind the scenes, Page's life was spiraling. By the mid-1970s, he had developed a severe heroin addiction, which he managed to keep hidden from the public for years. The addiction not only deteriorated his health but also strained his relationships with his bandmates, particularly Robert Plant and John Paul Jones, who watched as their brilliant leader became more reclusive, erratic, and frail. On stage, he appeared gaunt and distant, a shadow of the fiery performer who once commanded every venue. In interviews, those closest to him described a man consumed by paranoia, perfectionism, and darkness. As Led Zeppelin's popularity soared, so too did the chaos surrounding them. Hotel destruction, substance abuse, and allegations of occult practices followed them everywhere, with Page often at the center. Perhaps the most haunting moment came with the death of drummer John Bonham in 1980 after a night of heavy drinking. Bonham's death shattered the band and left Page devastated, burdened with guilt and grief. It marked the abrupt end of Led Zeppelin, and for a time, Page all but disappeared from the spotlight. In the years that followed, Page battled the long-term effects of his addiction and retreated into isolation. While he made brief returns to music, collaborating with other artists and reforming Led Zeppelin for rare performances that once defined his playing, was often clouded by the toll of years lost to drugs, obsessions, and emotional scars. Rumors of exploitative relationships and unhealthy power dynamics also swirled around his personal life, further complicating his legacy. Though he has since remained mostly clean and protective of his privacy, the shadows of his past still linger. Jimmy Page is undoubtedly one of the most influential musicians in history, but his story is not just one of innovation and success. It is a deeply human tale of ambition, addiction, loneliness, and the destructive seduction of power and mystery. His legacy remains monumental, but beneath the myth lies a man who, for much of his life, was quietly consumed by darkness he could never fully escape.